Hi guys, Shibin here. So in the last video, we installed Lubuntu on Windows using VirtualBox. For a lot of people, that is where the fun ends because we installed an OS inside an OS. But actually, that is where the fun begins. So in this video, let's take that Lubuntu installation and make it actually useful. All right. So let's go to our desktop. All right. So what we'll do, first thing we'll do is we'll go to the Explorer. All right. And remember, we installed in C drive VMs. All right. And there it is. This is the folder in which it has installed. Okay. Let's open VirtualBox as well. All right. So that's my VirtualBox. And this is the installation. What I'll do is let me just close it. And I can in fact navigate by doing right clicking on it and doing show in Explorer as well. Fantastic. All right. Now let's go over these files. Logs is where all the log files go. And then if you notice, there's a 3 KB file and then there's a VDI file, and the VDI file is gigantic, right? So this is basically your installation. This is your actual installation. And the VBox file is the metadata. So let's try to open it. Open it in Notepad. All right. And if you notice here, it is pointing to that same VDI file. And it has many more settings over here, right? So it's good to know where your files are and where your operating system actually is residing. Your VirtualBox is actually residing. Okay. One thing which I'll do is, I'm not a big fan of this preview. I will turn it off. Let's do update disable. All right. And there's no point having this preview, so I'll just remove it. All right. All right. Great. So let's boot our Linux. And we have our Linux desktop. Let's do the first thing. Let me go to System Tools Terminal and let me add it to the desktop. All right. And I'm going to trust this executable so that I can just run it easily. All right. What I'm going to do first is just do IPA to look for my IP address. And you'll notice that there is no proper IP address here. There's something which is showing over here, but I know for a fact that in my network, this is not the format in which the IP addresses follow. Not just that, I will go to my Windows. All right. And let me just put this over here. All right. I'll go to my Windows. Let me try to ping this. Ping, what's the IP? 10.0, 10.0.2.15. Okay, 10.0.2.15. And well, nothing is happening, right? The reason behind this is because this Linux computer is simply using the network of the Windows desktop. It doesn't actually exist on the network. All right. That is what is actually happening. So if you want this system on the network, then you will have to do some things, right? Another thing, how do I access the Windows files on this computer? I have my home directory and that's it. I mean, how do I exchange the files between my Windows computer and this Linux installation, right? And another thing, let's say I copy this, copy selection, all right? I'll go to my Windows, try to paste it, right? No, that's something else, right? And let me just sample text here, Control C, paste. I just got this. So it seems the clipboard is pretty much isolated between the two computers. Now this can get very annoying if you're working with this Linux, right? So what all do we have to do? It seems we want the system to exist on the network so that I can access it. I would want that I'm able to share the clipboard between them. And I would also want that I'm able to access the Windows files through this Linux operating system, right? Let's get to it. So the first thing we'll do is I'll do sudo apt update. All right. So let this update all the repository entries. Gonna take some time. Oh, all right. That was fast. Great. Next thing which I'll do is, if you want to access this Linux computer using SSH, then you will need SSH installation, right? So that is open SSH server. Okay. Yes, I want to install it. Fantastic. And other than that, we are going to install something in the future. So I'm doing some prep work. I'm also going to install build essential and module assistant. All right. And I'll point out when this is actually getting used, I'll point that out. So let me install these two things. That's a big package, 192 MB. So let's give it some time. That actually got done pretty fast. Yeah, that's it. That was our prep work, and I will shut down this computer. Okay, now we'll make some changes in the settings. So I'll go to settings. Okay, the first thing I'll do is general, advanced, and I will do bi-directional. The clipboard has to be shared bi-directional. That is host to guest, Windows to Linux, and guest to host, that is Linux to Windows, right? Bi-directional. Okay. Next thing which I will do, I'll go to network, and instead of NAT, I'm going to make it bridge adapter. NAT simply means that you are going to use the Windows network. That is, it itself doesn't ask for the network adapter. It just becomes an application and uses the Windows network, right? When I say bridge adapter, right, what it is saying is it's going to create its own adapter, right? A virtual adapter, of course, and it is going to get its own IP address. Fantastic. All right. And finally, I will go in shared folders. Okay. And I'm going to add a folder here. So let's go to Explorer again. And inside VMs, I'm going to create a folder, um, uh, host share. All right. Okay. And here I'll say, can you please give me this path? Okay. And this is host share. This is also host share. Don't touch these things and press OK. Okay, so again, quick review. I went to general, I did bi-directional shared clipboard. In the network, I made it bridge adapter. In the shared folder, I created a folder over here. You can create anywhere you want, but I created over here to keep things in one place. And I added it over here. Fantastic. Press OK. All right, and let's boot into it. I'm going to close this, or let it be there. That's fine. Okay, we are back on our desktop. Now let's open our terminal. Okay, and do IPA. All right, you see that? Now I see an IP address which is very similar to what I see in my network, right? Fantastic, 135. Great. Let's open the terminal on the Windows side and do a ping on this. Ping 192.168.29.135. All right, let me put it here. I keep covering the OS with my face. Yeah, I ping, boom, it is working. Our virtual machine now exists on the network. Okay, fantastic. All right. Now, just for fun, let's do this fun little thing. Okay, I'm going to create a test folder here. All right, cd test. And inside the test folder, let me create an index.html. All right, HTML tag, body tag. Let me give it a heading. Hi, heading closed. Okay, let me give a small paragraph. Hello world. All right, paragraph close, body close, HTML close. Okay, I have index.html. Fantastic. What I'm going to do is, if you guys don't know, Python offers the small little module called HTTP server, so you can host any server anywhere. It's a very quick thing. It's not recommended for production work. All right, but it is really good to quickly test something out. Okay, so it's telling me this is the web server, but we know the IP address, right? So I'm going to do http://192.168.29.135, and I think it set the port to be 8000. Boom, our web server is running through this. Pretty cool, huh? Now what I can do further, you know what, let me minimize this completely. Let me go over here, and now I will do, I did a ping, right? Let me do an SSH. My user is Shibin. All right. Yes, I want to add it. I will add my password, and I am inside this system. And my Linux is minimized, by the way. So I'm working directly on this system through SSH, right? So I'll do index.html, hello world. Let me just add another line, hello world again, 2 exclamations. All right, BR is a line break. Okay, F5, boom, right? So now I'm working through SSH on this computer. You know, we are doing some real development here, right? Okay, cool. Exit. All right, and my browser, I'm gonna close this as well. It's too white. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that was fun to see. Let me raise my Linux back up again. So my system is on network. Fantastic. We have solved one thing. Now we have to solve 2 more things, right? So let's get to it. I'm gonna close this Python server. Okay. Right. And what I will do is here devices, I'm going to do insert guest editions CD image, right? So what does that mean, right? So see, this is an operating system. Ultimately, operating systems run on hardware, right? They run on hardware, and you then install drivers for those hardware. Here what is happening is this operating system is made to believe that it is running on hardware. So this VirtualBox application, right? This VirtualBox application, this is the hardware for your operating system, right? So you have to install those drivers inside this Linux so that it runs on their hardware, which is VirtualBox in this case, right? Okay, so I've inserted the disk using devices, optical drive, insert guest editions, right? So I've inserted it. It's mounting on its own, so I'll let it do that. All right, I'll close this. Okay, and I'm going to navigate to that location, media, my user, and yeah, that is the location of this. All right, and here I will run sudo vbox linux editions dot run. All right, I will let it run this, put my sudo password, let it do its thing. All right, so it just got finished. So remember, guys, we installed build essential and module assistant. Yes, so what I just did, what I just installed, they were dependency of this particular guest editions. All right, it's already visible, shared clipboard, drag and drop, etc., where they will work successfully. So that's great. That is exactly what has happened here, right? So very quickly, let's go to mnt. Okay, I'm going to create a folder here. Fantastic. Okay, and let me do sudo mount -t. The file system type is vbox.sf. Okay, remember my device, it was host share, right, which is right here. This is the name, this is the name of my device, host share. All right, and my mount point is host share. Let me put the whole path, select mnt / host share, so that it's not confusing. All right, let's try it out. Okay, what happened? Something happened here, but this is empty. This is empty because I do not have anything inside it. Let's try to put something, new folder. Okay, ls, boom. Now I have new folder. Now anything I put inside Windows, I can bring that inside the Linux operating system. Fantastic, isn't it? You're not going to type this command every time you come inside it. So let's make this change permanent, that you know that it mounts this folder every time in that same location. Okay, so our directory is already created. We have to change this file called fstab. Okay, let me full screen this by pressing F11. Okay, and what I'll do is my mount point is host share. Sorry, my device is host share. All right. My mount point is mnt slash host share. My file system name is vbox.sf. Okay. And to keep these defaults as of now, no dumping, no passing. All right. Yes. Sounds about right. Okay. So let's reboot this computer. All right, I have my desktop back. Okay, so let's open a terminal and go to mnt host share. All right, now I didn't have to write a command to mount it. It's already mounted. So that happened because I put it in the fstab, etc fstab file. Great, this works. And let's check out our clipboard. Okay, let's copy this entire thing. All right, and do a right click, copy selection, go to our Windows Notepad, Control V. Okay, this is working. And here I'll put sample text, do a copy of that, come back to my Linux and do a right click, paste clipboard. We have sample text. So your clipboard is now working between Linux and Windows together. Fantastic. All right. And for demonstration, let's do this fun little thing, right? So I created this test folder, right? Let's move the test folder to my host share. All right. Okay, I have the test folder here. Did it reflect back over here? It did. Fantastic. And what I'll do is I'll go inside the test, run my web server again. All right. Go back to my Windows. I'll minimize this. No need of the notepad. Open the browser. All right, that's our web server, remember? And this time I will open the index file right here. All right, let's open it in my notepad. Okay, this is my file, if you remember. All right, and this time let me, I don't know, let's do something fun. Let me center this whole thing. Control S, F5, boom. So I centered the entire thing, but I did it all in Windows. However, the server is running inside the Linux, right? And by, of course, the web server is running in Linux. I refreshed it, but my workflow entirely stayed on Windows. So there you have it. You now have a Linux desktop, a Linux operating system, which is actually useful. You can use it for web development. You can use it for further tinkering around. If you have certain files that you want to process, but those commands are only available in Linux, you can do that. You can keep it in host share, go into Linux, run those commands, and then you have those files processed back in Windows. You can do all type of things. An actual usable Linux installation on top of your Windows installation. That's it. That was this video. Thank you.